Yeah, okay.
Second trimester, what is that like?
Second trimester?
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't do third trimester that I know of at Regina General. They did third trimesters in Illinois, where these babies came out. Third trimester is 6 to 9 months, the last stage. At 6 months, if some babies are born at 6 months, my daughter was born at 7 months. At that point, you're in an incubator, but you're very much alive. Well, in fact, you're
born and he's alive.
But this is an abortionist who caused him to come out prematurely.
It doesn't matter. If it's alive and you don't save it, it's murder.
I agree with you. That's why I lost my license. It was over that point. You got it. Yeah. At second trimester, they're even smaller.
How different is it for me killing you or not saying you got a baby? It's the same thing.
Well, I tend to agree with you. That's why I'm anti-abortion. The babies have heartbeats. The babies at the Regina General might not have even lived because they were very young. They were 22 weeks. At 22 weeks, you got about 30% survival rate, at least in the 90s when I was a nurse. Maybe with fetal technology it's better now, but I'm not current anymore. But about 25 to 30% would live at the 5 to 6 month range. But they'd often have a lot of handicaps. You know, they'll have cerebral palsy because of a lack of air, because their lungs are not developed. But they're still crying, and they still got heartbeats. And so these are the babies that Lorna Alquist had to kill, were second trimester.
But I read something about Obama that they said the baby's not alive till the head comes out, so they were actually sticking needles inside while the head was still inside, killing it so it would come out dead.
That's called a partial birth abortion. That was what Clinton vetoed. I don't know that the United States, I think you got two different cases mixed up. I don't know how the U.S. Supreme Court, I don't think the Supreme Court said it's not alive. I think the U.S. Supreme Court and the Supreme Court of Canada, in our case Sullivan and LeMay, they said it's not a person. So, you know, I remember arguing in nursing class about abortion with some girls, and I remember one girl says, oh, I believe it's alive and it's something, it's just not a person. And then she kind of giggled. It was like, you're killing a cat. Now, of course, I shot a bear this year, and all these pro-aborts started calling me a murderer. So they understood I killed something.
Yeah,
I killed a bear.
It was a baby bear.
But now, had I told them, oh, I just aborted a woman, they might have thought, well, Bill's starting to get progressive. you know, because see, I killed a baby. That's not a person.
Bill, I don't quite understand the logic of this. Of course, mind you, I think it's all hypocrisy anyway. But I mean, every organism has a continuum of life. It has a beginning and an end.
Mm-hmm.
And it is quite totally unrealistic to say that any organism at any stage of its life is completely and totally independent without need of some kind of support system. So how can you say that a fertilized ovum, which would, under the normal course of events, become an adult, live and die, how can you say that it is not a person?
Well, see, that's where I think the church had the science right in the earliest days. When I was in seminary, there was a document called the Didache. It was one of the earliest church documents after the Bible. It was 80 AD. I think many of the apostles were still alive. And it said, you shall not cause an abortion because it's murder. And it seems that the Catholic Church from the earliest time said life began at conception. And of course, we didn't have the technology we have today. We didn't even understand how the egg enters the ovum and becomes a fertilized egg. Now, I know from my nursing, you know, this isn't my theology. My theology tells me life begins at conception because the Bible even says that. In Psalms 139, it says, "Behold, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made." You see the personhood there, that God created this human being. So my theology tells me that, but my nursing tells me that when the egg and the sperm unite, you're a genetic human being. You're complete. The only thing you'll do is grow and die. But your eye color is determined, your sex is determined, who you are is determined. You cannot become that bear that I'm not pro-life, I'm pro-choice for. But for human beings, we're made in God's image, and that's the difference. You know, we actually have a need to worship God. We have a morality. Bears don't have that. A bear will eat its cub if it's a male bear and it gets kind of hungry. To where a human, if they got a strong enough moral code, you'll choose to starve rather than deprive your child. We know of mothers who were out to sea, they would give the last food to their kid.